Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the JA Fellows Virtual Retreat 2020. We are super excited to have you here today. We know that a lot of you are logging in, so thank you for joining us today, not only students, but teachers and mentors for this amazing and exciting and unprecedented 2020. We are very excited to still implement our JA Fellows Company program and to recreate the JA Fellows Retreat in the very first virtual edition. That being said, we will in just a minute have one of our first activities, which will be for you all to take a virtual picture with your companies. We will ask you to please join the breakout room with your school name. I will repeat that. We are asking you, students, mentors, and teachers, to join the breakout room with your school name. That's the first direction that we are asking you to please take. We will be doing a virtual photo for that. That being said, well, once again, welcome. And my name is Martha Rios. I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship at Junior Achievement of South Florida. We are super excited that you're joining us today and that you are starting your very first entrepreneurial experience at the Junior Achievement organization. So with that being said, I am going to introduce one of my amazing colleagues. Her name is Aisha. She will be sharing with you the very first activity that we'll be doing today, and this is in relation to our social media efforts. So I will be showing the PowerPoint with the slide, and I will let Aisha talk with you guys about this initiative. Go ahead, Aisha.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Aisha. I am the social media I'm the marketing coordinator for Junior Achievement of South Florida, and I run a lot of the social media campaigns that we do. And we have a fun contest coming up for you. I'm just waiting for the slide. So in the meantime, what you guys can do is you can pull out your phones and open up Instagram, and you guys can go ahead and follow us on Instagram. Our name is at JA South Florida, because we're going to have a fun contest coming up for you guys in just a few seconds. And then I'm going to be going over how that contest is going to work, and you guys can have a chance to enter and win a gift card. Did we lose Martha? So while we're waiting for the slide to come up, I'm just going to start going over how the contest is going to work. So in a few minutes, you guys are going to be put into a virtual photo booth where you guys can take a screenshot of your group photo in the photo booth. And what you guys can do is on Instagram, you can share that photo, and you're going to tag Junior Achievement of South Florida. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reshare that photo to our Instagram story. And you guys are going to tell your friends, and you're going to get your friends to follow Junior Achievement of South Florida and react to that group photo. So once they react to that story, the person that has the most reactions is going to win that gift card. So you want to make sure you tell your friends to follow at JA of South Florida and get them to react to your posts that we are going to repost in our story. And whoever gets the most reactions, you will be getting an email from Martha, and you'll know if you win the gift card. And the contest is going to run until 5 o'clock today. So 5 o'clock p.m., that's when it's going to end, and we are going to tally up who has the most. Oh, and there's the slide. So once again, that is how you can follow us at JA of South Florida. You're going to share your photo booth picture, tag us. Then you're going to get your friends to follow us. They have to be following us. And then they're going to react to the story that we're going to repost. And then you have until 5 o'clock p.m. this afternoon to get as many reactions as you can. And now we're going to go straight into a little fun interactive part of the retreat. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see the Menti? Okay, so what you guys are gonna do is on the top of the screen, you can see the website, which is www.menti.com. So if you guys go ahead and visit that website. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what someone just said.
Aisha, I think it was just background noise.
Oh, okay. So if you go ahead and go to menti.com, you'll see the code up here. It's 1494141. And I see we're already getting some answers. So the question was, what are your expectations about today's JA Fellows Retreat? And some of you guys are saying you expect it to be educational, you think it'll be fun, you think you'll learn new skills, gaining new skills, gaining experience, you think it's going to be motivational and informational, which is all really great things because that's what we also expect you guys to gain out of this program. So new opportunities, absolutely, that's a great one. Making connections, that's a very good one. Unique, I like that one. Interactive, definitely, even though it's not in person and a lot of it is going to be virtual, we are trying to keep it as interactive as possible. So we'll just wait for a couple more people to get their answers in. Okay, so we can go ahead and go on to the next question. So I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to get some more answers in for this question. It's going to be joyful, new opportunities, teamwork, that's definitely important. Okay, so the next question is, how do you feel about creating a business during the JA Fellow Company program? So you guys are going to be entrepreneurs, right? So we want to know, how do you guys feel about that? Are you guys, especially, you know, everything's virtual, how are you guys feeling? Motivated, excited, thrilled? That's good. A lot of positive feedback. Nervous, that's normal. Determined, challenged, that's good. We do want it to be challenging. I see somebody put confused. Make sure you ask questions whenever we have the opportunity to ask questions, because we do want to help you clarify whatever you're confused about, because we want you to enjoy this experience. Anxious, creative. Awesome. Okay, so we can go ahead and, yep, and so Brianna just put in the chat, you guys can ask questions here as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen so we can get back to the presentation and Martha can continue.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Aisha. That was amazing. And thank you, everyone, for participating. Now I will be presenting a few short slides before we have our amazing Junior Achievement President give you the welcome. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Please confirm that you can see it, or my colleagues, please let me know that you can see what I'm sharing.
We can see it.
And let me just put this into, oh, okay. So now we will be asking you to please go to your virtual photo booth to take your pictures. Again, as I mentioned before, please click on the breakout room that has your school name, and you will be prompted to go to that room. One of our JAA staff members will take a picture. Please put your best smile and please get ready to go. As I mentioned before, you guys need to find your breakout room with your name, with your school's name, and go into that breakout room in order to take a picture with your classmates. If you guys don't see your breakout room, you guys may stay and we'll take a picture in the main room, don't worry. We have given 2 minutes for this activity, so we'll give them 1 more minute so they are back. All right, now that we have taken our virtual photo booth, I will have the honor and pleasure to introduce somebody very special. She is the Junior Achievement of South Florida President and CEO. I would just like confirmation that she can hear us and that she can see us.
I can hear you and see you.
And Miss Lori Salarulo, you are up.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear and see me? Yes,
Yeah.
All right. Well, good morning, good morning. This is one of my most favorite times of the year when I get to speak with the students. You know, so often I'm out in the community raising money, looking for opportunities to bring JA programming around entrepreneurship and workforce development and financial literacy to more and more students. The more that we can reach, the more that we can impact. And the more of you that have access to you, I believe, the more of you will achieve success in the future. You have been given an amazing opportunity. If you talk to any alumni of JA Fellows, you will hear them tell you that this program, they learned more and they understood more about the real world and how their education was going to help them and how to apply that education in the future. I believe there are two things that make us successful. There's a lot of things actually that make us successful as leaders in the future. And by the way, my team knows, Martha, who's on this line, being a leader does not have anything to do with your title. So no matter what your title is and your role is in your company, you are a leader of that company. And so you have a responsibility to continue to learn and to grow as a leader. But I think there are two important things. And I want to show a little video about one. I believe we need, as leaders, right, what makes us stand out from the rest? You're in this program with hundreds of high school students. How will you stand out from the rest? How will you stand out in your company to be seen as a leader? I think hustle and heart are two of those things. The first thing, I'm going to talk about heart for a second. If you are not passionate about why your company will exist, what need you're going to fill, what gap you're going to fill that hole of in our community or in our society, you won't have, if you don't have your heart in it, it may not drive you to really want to succeed and make a difference. So I hope together as a team, you come up with what it is that speaks to your hearts, what makes you passionate, and what makes you want to continue to build your company and grow your company. The second one is hustle. Nobody ever got anywhere without hard work, but there's hard work and there's hustle. And so I thought I can't really do it justice. There's a little video about hustle that I've asked Fabi to show for each of you. So Fabi, roll it. Oops.
I talk about hustle, here's why. If I looked at all of us right now and everybody behind these cameras or reading this article and said, get smarter, more talented. I want you to get more talented. That's very tricky. That's unbelievably ideological advice. If I said, look, 2 extra hours of work actually has an impact on your success if that's what you're trying to achieve, that's practical. Yeah. You don't have to, but it's controllable. Work ethic is controllable. Being born with talent is not.
The separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, who have dreams, that want to do things. Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft.
Only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. Right? I will run.
You would not be outworked.
I will not be outworked.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, you might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. You might be sexier than me. You might be all of those things. You got it on me in 9 categories. But if we get on the treadmill together, right? There's 2 things. You're getting off first, or I'm gonna die. It's really that simple. Right? It's such a simple, basic concept. It's the guy who is willing to hustle the most is going to be the guy that just gets that loose ball. The commodity that I see the majority of people who aren't getting the places they want or aren't achieving the things that they want in this business is strictly based on hustle. It's strictly based on being outworked. It's strictly based on missing crucial opportunities. I say all the time, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
How do you get money to do what you love? You don't. right? I lost a load of money when I started doing what I loved. What you do is you position yourself to succeed. So for example, if you're doing something else and you want to do this thing you love, you do it after hours. You work 9 to 6, you get home, you kiss the dog, and you go to town, right? I mean, you start building your equity and your brand and whatever you're trying to accomplish after hours. Everybody has time. Stop watching Lost.
At the end of the day, talent will not win the game. It is work ethic that will win the game.
So, you know what I mean? I mean, if you want this, if you want bling bling, if you want to buy the jets, if you want to do work, that's how you get it.
So I'm a real, and my team will tell you, I'm always sending videos and quotes, and I love motivational stuff. It's what drives me to constantly be better. And so I just tell you that whether it's this JA Fellows experience that you're going through and that you have the opportunity to learn and grow, and this experience, if you make the most of it, I promise you, will be one that you will benefit from for the rest of your career, whether it's your career or your professional or your personal life. And so I ask you as I leave you, are you willing to die on the treadmill? So don't forget to have heart and hustle. Enjoy the program, work hard, and put in the work. I promise you it will be worth it in the end. But ask yourself that question. Am I willing to die on the treadmill? Thanks, everybody. Have an amazing experience. You have an awesome leader with you, Martha Rios. She is terrific. She's been running this program for several years and has grown it. And so just take every piece of knowledge that she can give you. Bye, everybody. Oh, before I forget, and Martha's looking at me. I forgot that I'm supposed to introduce the next guest. It just makes perfect sense for our next guest to welcome you as well. He is going to talk with you a little bit. He runs the School of Entrepreneurship. This is an opportunity. We have a great partnership with Nova Southeastern University Business and Entrepreneurship School, and he teaches it, he lives it, he breathes it. And so I want to introduce and welcome Dean Andrew Rossman, who is the Dean and Professor of Accounting at H. Wayne Huizinga School of Business and Entrepreneurship.
Morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to this event. I'm honored to be here. I've been at Nova for about a year. I've spent about 31 years now in higher education. Prior to Nova, most recently, I was about 6 years, 5+ years at Fairleigh Dickinson University in New Jersey. And I spoke to the junior achievement groups up there at our 2 different campuses. And I find this just to be a rewarding event for me. I'm just so envious of you. I'm at a different stage in my career. It's kind of on the tail end of it, and you were looking at it from the beginning. And it should be an exciting time, but at the same time, boy, I realize that this is an incredibly stressful time. Who would have thought a year ago that we'd be doing this on a computer screen, looking at little inch-sized boxes of each other, and somehow trying to develop a network through this technology that it existed, but it was nowhere near as commonplace as we know it now, Zoom, right? So I'm envious of you because you're at the beginning of your careers, you're at the beginning of your professional and personal lives, and it's just a wonderful place to be. And at the same time, I understand, my God, this is just so incredibly stressful. It's just so incredibly stressful what you're going through. Let me just say a couple of things to you. The first thing is pat yourself on the back. You know, congratulations to you for being involved in junior achievement and investing in yourself. One of the first things my dad said to me when I started work many years ago was, he said, the first check you write out to yourself every single month is not to pay your utility bill or your rent. Write it to yourself, put it into savings, invest in yourself. That's how you're going to start to build up a nest egg so that when you retire, you're going to have some money. What you're doing is like writing a check to yourself right now. You're investing in yourselves by participating in junior achievement. And that's what's so important, is you're beginning to say to yourself, I'm the most important person right now who's going to invest in my own career and my own success. By participating in junior achievement, that's what you're doing. You're beginning to develop your network. And what I suggest that you do, and everybody talks to you about networking, there's a network You know, I got thousands of people linked into me. I can probably only tell you on two hands, maybe, how many of them are really, really close people to me, but they're linked. Yeah, they're part of my network, but you have a network and then you got a close network. People that you can rely on and people that you can count on to give you advice and to help you out. Really try to develop a network, but also a close network, meaningful relationships. I had a phone conversation last night with a former student of mine. I taught at UConn for almost 24 years, and I had him in class in 1991. Before my son, my youngest son, who's now 26, was born, I had this fellow Garth in my class. He still reaches out to me for advice. And I think it's wonderful that I can have a relationship with somebody that lasts, you know, almost 3 decades, and it was built upon a teacher-student relationship, you know? And those are the meaningful relationships I think that you should build. So as you build your network, identify those handful of people who are going to be the real people that you can rely on in your life. Some of them are going to be relatives and you know, parents and siblings, and some of them are going to be friends, people that you're meeting right now through JA. And then they're going to be people that you're simply going to meet throughout your career. Try to find that person who's going to be as interested in you as you are in yourself, you know, and develop a relationship that's meaningful for both of you. So when that person helps you, you can be there to help that person. And sometimes it's just something as simple as just listening to them. And it's amazing how those relationships build and flourish over time. That's what's going to be the most meaningful thing. And when you look back on your career, it's not going to be the amount of money that is in your wallet that's going to matter. It's going to be those meaningful relationships ultimately that help you get to where you are, but it's going to be those meaningful relationships that are going to be the most impactful on you as you kind of look in the rearview mirror, which is what I'm doing at this point in my career. I'm not retiring yet, but I'm at a different point in my career than you are. So as you start your careers, build those meaningful relationships. You will thoroughly enjoy them as you go through your career. You'll rely on them. And at that later part in your career, you'll look back on them too and just smile. And that's my message to you. So please enjoy your lives and please enjoy your relationship with JA. And congratulations for investing in yourself.
Thank you so much, Dean Rosman. We really appreciate your kind words and taking the time to be with us today.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Be well, everybody. That's important too.
Thank you. All right. And now I would love to introduce one of my colleagues. Her name is Alexa Diaz. She's the Senior Director for Capstone Programs, and she has something very important to tell us. Go ahead, Alexa.
Hi. So great to be here with you all. I'm so excited. Thank you, Martha, for inviting me. This is such an exciting time for you guys. You're learning, you're about to embark on an incredible journey. Kudos to all those teachers, mentors out there. Today is very special. We were able to have the amazing support of Accenture, which is a company that not only supports us locally and has supported us for many, many years, but they actually support us nationally as well. Today, I'm here to introduce the amazing Teresa Matanti. Teresa is Accenture Interactive's member of Marketing and Strategy, where she helps clients design, build, and deploy strategies, processes, technologies, and organizational changes required to increase the effectiveness of the marketing organization. She has over 20 years of experience working in multinational companies, implementing marketing transformation programs. She was born and raised in South Florida, woo woo, and graduated from NSU, having obtained both an MBA and a Bachelor's of Science. Today, Teresa, and we have her colleague Keith, who I've worked with for many, many years. I'm so glad that he was able to introduce her to us. They're going to be doing something really fun. Teresa has put together something, and she'll probably tell you a little bit of the story. What you guys are going to be going through was actually supposed to be for the Accenture team, and this was going to happen prior to COVID. She had a presentation done in regards to design thinking, which is something so important as you are putting together those businesses, thinking about those products. And so I'm so excited to introduce her. We're so happy she's here. Thank you so much, Teresa, for supporting junior achievement. I know you volunteered in the parks before. You've been such a great advocate, and we're just so happy for you to be here as a role model for these students. So please, everybody, clap for Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alexa. let me go ahead and get the presentation up that I wanted to share with you today. And I love the word jumble that y'all put out there a few minutes ago. One of the things that I'd like to have not only from this presentation, but also allow you guys to have for your program at large is fun. And I don't know if you could see it, but I'm holding up one of my little tools that we use for design thinking. So if you can, Martha, give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Perfect. We've got about 30 minutes today. I'm going to give you a little overview on what design thinking is, give you a little glimpse into some of the methodologies and some of the tools that we use, and then how at our company at Accenture, we utilize design thinking really to help our clients not do to them, but do with them. And that could be new ideas for new businesses. It could be ideas for increasing efficiency and effectiveness. But you'll see as we go throughout the day, or the 30 minutes, if you would, how design thinking can be implemented not only to help you in your future business, but also to be used in your everyday life. So thank you, Alexa. A little bit about Accenture, multinational corporation. I won't bore you on the details. Fortunate enough to be able to volunteer with my colleague Keith and other members of our organization, both for BizTown and Finance Park. So love to go back to school and be you guys for a day or two with your programs. And thank you very much, Alexis, for introducing me as well. I'm also a design thinking facilitator. So I get to utilize not only my experience as it relates to business and marketing, but also as it relates to design thinking and help our clients move along their path, if you would, on what they're trying to achieve. So a little bit about it, right? So what is design thinking? Well, in short, it's really about designing for change. It's a human-centered approach and how we organize and how we think about challenges and problems. I mean, it's about creating new value for business. So we utilize it not only to create, let's call it small change, but also to help clients think about big change and big ideas and new products and services that might come to market to be able to help their clients. So I'm going to jump in a little bit further to give you an understanding of how we usually start the day when it comes to design thinking. There's no laptops, there's no phones. That absolutely, we call it, just down and out. And it's a very safe environment because we're actually asking you to have fun, and we're asking you to trust in the uncomfortableness. We want you to embrace the discomfort. There is a lot of drawing that takes place. And so oftentimes we hear people say, I don't know how to draw. My first statement to them is, can you draw a line or a square or a triangle? And if the answer is yes, you can design, because that's all it takes. The other thing that we always ask people to do is really have fun. There is no answer. Yes.
Teresa, if I may interrupt, we are seeing just the first slide. Is that the purpose?
No.
We're only in slide number 1. And I feel that you're talking about slide number 5. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I'm wondering, do you want to present the document?
No, I mean, no, not at all. You have presenting rights. I guess it would be a matter of, do you see in your screen slide number 5 already?
I do.
Ooh, okay. So let me try and present on my end then, just to see if mine work.
Let me see. Did it just progress? Are you on 5 now or no?
No, we are still seeing 1. If anybody else could I'm seeing 1. If anybody else could pitch in, any of my JA staff colleagues.
Yes, actually, Teresa, we're in the initial window prior to you sharing. So it might be that when you do the share, it doesn't jump onto the presentation of the slideshow.
It's possible. And so
you must share the whole screen, not just.
Right. Martha, do you want to share it and then I could just speak to it? And that way,
I can do that. Yeah,
we'll stay on track.
Yeah. So all of you, if you guys would let me know if you actually see my screen. Okay. So now it's, okay. This would be, I'm sharing slide number 1. Do you all see it?
Yep. Yes. Absolutely.
We can see it. Perfect. 2, 3, maybe here.
That's perfect. So let's go ahead and jump because I don't want to take up too much of our time. I know we want to actually get to some fun. So if you can flip to the next chart for me. Great. In design thinking, there are a lot of things that we take into consideration, and these are some attributes, right? So we talked about it being human-centered. It's really about thinking about people, what's going to make their lives better. It's collaboration. So it's oftentimes we get various different organizations in a room, sometimes usually about 20, sometimes 30 people. Anything more than that's gets pretty hairy. But nevertheless, these are people that come from all different parts of the organization. They could be in finance, they could be in engineering, they could be in marketing. And we really ask them to come together and bring their diverse attitudes and their diverse thinking. It's creative and it's playful. And what I mentioned earlier today is there's only a couple of tools that you have available to you when you do design thinking. It's usually a 3x3 notepad, the Post-it pads. We also utilize Sharpies. And the reason for a Sharpie is so that you don't write a novel, that you're actually drawing or writing a statement or a word. And then a couple of other things is about prototyping. We actually don't go into a dark room and create products and services independently. We create them on the fly, and we iterate and we change them as we go forward. And the last is continuous learning. So it's always about continually iterating with your clients, updating it, making it better before you go to market. And this happens actually pretty quickly. We do this throughout workshops. We can do it in a 4-hour window. We can do it in a 1-hour window. And today we're probably going to do a little bit in 15 minutes. So if you can progress me through, we'll get to the next phase. So just a little bit of information here on how we utilize design thinking at Accenture. And it really helps us be more creative and innovative. And I would say many years back, Accenture is a large consulting technology firm. We've progressed and we've moved into different areas today. But oftentimes you'll find firms like Accenture in the past or other organizations, and they have something in their bag that they've got to sell you. That's not necessarily the way that design thinking works. It helps us ask different questions, and it helps us create solutions with our clients. So instead of giving them a hammer and they're looking for a nail, we ask, what are they trying to do? And they could be trying to hang a picture. And that could be a very different way or a very different tool instead of a hammer that they would utilize. It could be tape. It could be Velcro. So just to give you an understanding of how we utilize design thinking at Accenture. If you can flip me through to the next. And these are what we call the circles or the bubbles. Oftentimes in consulting, you'll find us in the upper part, the upper left-hand corner, if you would, in discover, describe, and ideate. Discover is really what we look, it's where we utilize looking skills. We're observing human experience. We're observing behavior. We're doing research and we're asking questions. And as we move through describe, that's where we've now got enough information that we're analyzing that information. It could be analyzing the behaviors. It could be analyzing reams of data. This all happens really, really quickly in design thinking workshops. And then of course the ideate is where we would say it's about making. It's prototyping, it's creating some design or service and testing it in the classroom or in that particular setting. Thanks, Alexa, if you want to keep moving. And so I wanted to share with you a real life experience. A large company out in Portland, Oregon is called Intel. And you might know them if you've got a laptop or something where it's the Intel inside. But nevertheless, I was working with their global marketing organization. And they had 3 objectives. It was to inspire collaboration and ideation across their entire organization and marketing. It was to motivate and create a shared vision and mission. And then it was really to also incorporate some industry trends. What was happening in digital? What was happening in digital marketing that they could take and they can learn from and create a roadmap in order to actually do good things in the future. Go ahead and flip us through. And this was the output. So there was 16 global team members over a period of 6 hours, one day. We did 4 design thinking exercises, or some may call them methodologies, some may call them recipes. They absolutely work hand in hand and together. The output of that was over 100 ideas that were generated. 16 people, 100 ideas. over a 6-period hour. And then of that, we prioritized. They couldn't work on all 100 in a given year. They were going back to the board of directors to get funding in order to be able to go forward with some of their projects. So they came out with 12. But this just gives you an idea of how you can get people in a room, very diverse backgrounds, and get them thinking about common goals and objectives and what comes out of it. Again, there is no right answer, but when you get those people together, they'll absolutely, it'll be like a power, if you would, of all of them to be able to create the ideas for the future. So shared that with you because this is a real life experience. It's how we work on a day-to-day basis, not only from a people and a process perspective, but also when it relates to technology and then new products and services to go to market. Okay, go ahead and flip us through. So what does all this mean? Right? This is really the big question. So what? Well, it's in order to really be an effective problem solver, you really need to create problem frames. And how do I frame a problem or a challenge in a way that it can think about it more innovatively? So these innovative solutions emerge out of different ways of thinking. And it's different ways of stating the problem. And oftentimes we have customers or clients that will come and they'll say, I need a tool or I need a piece of technology. We usually stop them at the moment. We have 2 ears for listening, so we listen and we allow them to speak. But the second is we quickly move into what problem are you trying to solve? I understand you think you need a tool and you may well need a tool, but if we step back a little bit further and figure out what it is that you're trying to do, we might be able to help them think differently and enable them to actually come out with a better solution. So if you can click us forward. We thought maybe we'd give you an opportunity. Now, oftentimes we do this in a face-to-face setting, but we also do design thinking in a very virtual world, which is what we're doing today. Sometimes it's expensive to have our colleagues from China or London, if you would, come to a particular place in Florida or in San Francisco, California. So we utilize different tools. Mural, M-U-R-A-L, is one of them that we utilize for design thinking. And so in this particular setting, we've got a few minutes and we're going to try this out with you guys. So if you can flip us to the next page. Here's where I'm going to ask you to take your piece of paper, and in this case, we usually say a Post-it note and potentially a Sharpie, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds in a moment. I'll tell you when we'll start the clock. And no big instructions here. It's just going to be, I'm going to ask you to design a vase. So I'm going to get my clock ready. You get your pen or your Sharpie and your piece of paper and go ahead and sketch a vase. Clock starts now. Ten seconds left. All right, pens down. And I'm sure you thought when I first said, whoops, let me dismiss that. I'm sure you might have thought when I first said, design a vase, draw a vase. I mean, I only gave you 30 seconds. You're like, oh my gosh, that's not enough. I need longer. And what you realize, you really don't. So flip us to the next page. And I'm going to ask you to turn your piece of paper over or get another piece of paper. And now I'm going to ask a question in a different way. So the first question was divine a vase. This one is now tell me how, and I don't know if you can see me, but tell me how you might display flowers. So I'm going to give you another 30 seconds. And in this case, you're going to design a way of displaying flowers. Your time starts now. That's 7 seconds. All right, pens down. Slightly different. So Martha, if you can go ahead and progress us to the next page. This is generally where we would say, partner up with someone sitting next to you, and sometimes in a virtual setting, and share your design with them. This is where you're going to be asking for feedback on your second design only. And I think that's going to be a little bit challenging in the current place that we're in. So if you can go ahead, Martha, and flip us to the next page. Using your feedback, we would say, go ahead and iterate on your design. Now, if you think back to the big circles that I showed you in the beginning, discover, describe, and then of course the ideate. This is kind of sort of where you're ideating and you're iterating on your design together, and you're working typically in a group. And what we often find is that your second design and working with your partner or partners, you actually come out with something better than what you had together. So your final concept, if you would, is something much different than what the vase would have been. And it's also different than maybe supporting some flowers. And my colleague Keith and I were talking about this earlier in the week. And he was suggesting, oh, I might draw something where I wear the flowers around my neck. And I might draw something where, it's a vase where I pin it in my hair. Just gives you different ideas, different ways in which to be able to design your product or your service for your clients. Martha, if you could flip us forward. You're stuck too?
It seems I'm stuck too. Oh my goodness, hold on. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. So I hope everybody draw what they are supposed to be drawing. Okay, can you see it now? No.
No.
Okay, so hold on. The beauty of Zoom.
Right.
I think I got it now. All right, can you?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
And so Martha and Alexa, I think you might have selected a couple of students that are on the call with us today, where we said, let's go ahead and pin it up. So show us their design and what their second design and the one that they iterated on looks like.
Absolutely, Theresa, you are right. We did ask some of our amazing students to be ready to share, to be ready to show us what they have done. So I'm going to call you guys out and let me know who's the first one to be ready. I have Mariana Gutierrez. I have Kayla Bigelman. I'm sorry, and I apologize for pronunciations if they're not correct. I have Asil Ismail. I have Jonathan Miknovoski. I have Rihanna Borton. So who would like to go first, or anybody else, in all honesty? Who would like to share first? And remember to unmute yourself and to obviously turn on your camera. I can't hear anybody, so one person at a time, please.
I would like to go first. Asil.
Perfect. What school are you from?
McFadder Technical High School.
Woohoo! McFadder represented. Alrighty, go ahead.
So what my classmates and I came up with is basically a tutoring online website, which is great for times like this where students are struggling with school and teachers can't really, interact with their students the same way. So students haven't been understanding the concepts, the same. So our idea was to create an online website where the students are volunteers and high school students are volunteers basically, and they can
Okay, I think you're sharing your idea for your school. I was wondering if you could share the activity that Theresa has just shared with us.
Oh, okay, sorry, I misunderstood the question.
It would be
That's
your
okay.
vase. Yeah, it would be your not your first design, which was your vase. It would be your second one. How do I display flowers?
All right, perfect. So my design was this.
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thanks. I can see Kayla right in front of me in my laptop. Kayla, would you like to share? And you're on mute.
My dog previously, so I didn't want you guys hearing my dog bark. So I was thinking of a different way to display flowers. I've seen a lot of people display flowers in like water bottles to just like help recycle. So I don't know if you could see it, but I drew a water bottle and then the flower coming out of the water bottle.
Excellent.
Just to like help recycle. And then I know a lot of people just put soil in that water bottle. So I was just trying to think like a little bit other than like a pot or a vase.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what the concept of design thinking is all about. Asil showed us a beautiful way to display flowers, and now took it a little bit further to talk about the environment and how do we ensure that we're being smart and protecting the world that we live in. Love that. And I think, Martha, one more possibly?
Absolutely. Do I have Mariana around, or Jonathan, or Rihanna? Okay, anybody else that I see in front of me that might be able to share?
I'll go. This is Tanisha Joy.
Thank you, Tanisha. Perfect. See,
So,
and she actually
this is
did a
my
little
drawing.
shading. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about your drawing, and did it differ from your first one?
This one is more detailed. Like you could see some shading here. And
Absolutely.
the actual dots inside the sunflowers.
Did it make you pause at all when I know the first question was design a vase, and pretty classic, something that sits on a table. But when we said design something to hold flowers, did it make you pause and think slightly differently than your first design?
Not really. I was more thinking about like decoration, so I just added the vase and the flower together.
Sure. And that's exactly kind of sort of what we're looking for, right? How did you enhance it? How did you make it better than your first one? So, Martha, if it's okay with you, I'll take back and you could go ahead and share the screen. Thank you so much, Tanisha, and everyone else for sharing your designs. We're on chart 18 or slide 18 as an example.
Can you see it? Can you see what I'm sharing right now?
We can, absolutely. If you can just go progress to the next page, that's perfect. The one before it would be even better. So, the question is, so what does design thinking look like? And the answer is, it's already happening. It's what you guys were doing. Now, yes, we took a very simple idea and a very simple concept of a vase or, something that can hold flowers. But these are real life challenges and problems that companies like IKEA and many others deal with on an everyday basis. And if you think even how do we apply it, think to the ride-sharing companies as an example, Lyft and Uber. Granted, they've put out a lot of taxis out of business, but at the end of the day, they weren't selling cars, which someone, a car dealership may say, I have a car, you got to get into a car if you need to go someplace. They were selling a way to get from one place to another. And they're still doing that. So they kind of sort of disrupted not only, taxis and transportation and the bus system, if you would, but they also disrupted car dealerships. So it's another way to implement, how to solve a problem for a particular client and or customer, and do it very differently instead of going back to the tried true way of, I just need to make a better car. And the answer was, you need to change the way that they get to one place to the next. So Martha, if you can flip us to the next chart or slide. I have a lot of young people that work with us. they graduate from university and we bring them in as interns, and I'm a little older than they are, so I use the term charts. And they often ask me, what the heck are you referring to? I did say shark. In marketing, we use the term charts a lot. But nevertheless, give yourself a round of applause. Hooray. This is design thinking. And it's a way in which I hope you're able to reflect upon just a little bit that we taught you today, and apply some of that, not only to your program that you're embarking on, but also in your everyday life, the way you plan a party, the way you think about your next vacation, and getting feedback from your family and or friends on how you want to do that. So it just helps you not only incorporate but also other people's feelings, but also think about the ways in which it will make them satisfied and that they'll enjoy it. And then I wanted to leave you with one last, I would say, framework. And Martha, if you can flip us to the next page. This is really design thinking framework. It's not only what we utilize, but it's what an institution called LUMA, L-U-M-A. It's where we do a lot of our education and our training, and we get a lot of what we call recipes and methodologies from. There's another large firm out there, it's called IDEO. IDEO is well known in the marketplace with regard to design thinking and a way in which to bring that to innovating products and services or businesses. And then we also utilize it in our organization. We have a very, very creative design team, which is called Fjord, F-J-O-R-D. And these are some of the methodologies that they use. So I talked about it earlier today when we talked about the discover, the describe, the ideate, if you would. And then going down on the vertical, you'll see looking, understanding, and making. And the things highlighted in yellow or green or blue and the little dots, if you would, these are all the various different methodologies and or recipes that we have available to us. And when I shared with you the 6-hour session with, Intel as an example, we utilized 4 of these. So they don't necessarily have to go in a waterfall fashion. You can choose to start in understanding. If I'm trying to understand people and systems or patterns and priorities, or if I'm trying to frame the problem, which is kind of sort of what we were doing with the vase and or flowers. Of course, the making is where you start to get into the concepts and the ideas and the prototyping, which is really fun. But I just want to let you know that you can always go back up and down depending on what you're trying to achieve. And if your product and or your service or your business isn't coming to fruition based on your goals and your objectives that you set, go back, understand, maybe I need to do a little bit more research. Maybe I need to interview someone, or I need to actually watch them using whatever it is that I designed in order to make it better for them. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to thank you all very, very much. I'm very envious of what you're doing. I wish when I was at Miramar High School that we had that. We didn't. But I look forward to seeing what comes out and hope to be seeing you guys all as winners.
Thank you so much, Teresa. We really appreciate all you have done. Big round of applause for you, from our students, from our teachers, from our mentors. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing experience for the kids. I will keep you and Keith posted about what our students will be doing, what companies they will be creating, what products or services in this, in this environment they will be able to come up with. And we'll invite you to the Spartan competition, to the end of the year competition, so that you guys are proud of our students. So
thank you. Go have fun today, everybody.
Thanks, Teresa. All right, guys. So now we are going to go into a 3-minute break. And when you come back, you will all go into your breakout rooms. Remember when you RSVP'd, you selected what breakout sessions you wanted to be part of, management or finance or supply chain or marketing and sales. So when you come back, we'll do our best to transport you directly into those rooms. You will see a mentor, an adult who has already volunteered to mentor you guys in prior years, and you will also get to see a JA Fellows alum. Maybe he or she did the program last year or in prior years. So you will have 2 people that will be providing you with the tools and resources. And remember, you all received yesterday your JA Fellows folder with through our Dropbox link, right? All of the documentation that you need is right then and there. For all 4 breakout sessions, you have everything you need there. You will have your speakers share with you their knowledge and their best practices and tips and tricks. And you will have a JA staff member moderate the chat box for any questions you may have at the end of the session. So with that being said, please take 2 minutes and then be back, and we will see you soon. Thank you and have a good.
So I would like to welcome today our 2 speakers and mentors. We have Bart Kessel, and Bart right now is the VP of Business Development and Strategic Initiatives at ABB Optical Group. And I know, Bart, you have 20 years of progressive leadership experience in operations, customer solutions, business and corporate development. Too many for me to mention. So thank you so much for that. And I know you have also mentored our fellows at McFatter. So thank you. And then Susan joining us today. Susan is one of our alumni, and she was the president of JA's 2018 Company of the Year. So congratulations. And Susan is now a freshman at UM. So that's wonderful. So Bart, are you going to be sharing your screen today?
Yes, that is the plan, Claire. So let me try to get that going. And you tell me if that works indeed.
I do see it, yes. And at the end, we will be taking a group photo. So let's make sure we leave time for that as well. So thank you, Bart. It's all up to you now.
Excellent. I hope you can be loud and clear as well. Just confirming, Claire, that's indeed going. The audio is good too?
Yes, your audio is fine.
Okay, excellent. So, well, team here, thank you very much for having me this morning. Thank you for joining this session on supply chain. It's a topic very near and dear to my heart. I've spent most of my career in supply chain management. And so I want to thank you for being here in this breakout session. And just wanted to refresh your memory, or for maybe those of you who not really had a lot of experience, but supply chain really is, about the flow of goods in an organization or between organizations, from raw materials through manufacturing and distribution and transportation, ultimately, to the shelves of a store. Or maybe through an online platform, ultimately to get it to the end user. And so that is the gist of it. But what is ultimately really important is, how do we plan for that? How do we execute it? And how do we manage that supply chain? So before I go into that content a bit more with you, just want to do a quick introduction for myself, but I appreciate you, Claire, already sharing some. But yeah, so I've been working in supply chain for about 25 years or so, globally with DHL, and now the last over 11 years locally here in Coral Springs with this company called ABB Optical Group. We are a supplier to the optometry industry, optometrists and optical retail. So we manufacture and distribute contact lenses and eyeglasses, and we grind prescription in glasses, and basically everything you can get in a lens crafter or a Pearl Vision or your local optometry doctor typically comes from us. We are a market leader in North America. And I had the opportunity to mentor a group of JA Fellow students at McFatter in Davie, which was a fantastic opportunity and exciting time for me to be there with the students and to mentor them. So I want to introduce you to my, let's say, partner in crime here today, which is Susan. And I think Susan will do a quick intro for herself.
Yep. Hi guys. So yeah, basically I'm Susan. I was a part of JA's the competition program in 2018. So I was the president of the company, but as president, you are involved in everything as well. So I do have some insights on supply chain as well, from my own experience and from my supply chain VP's experience as well. So yeah, I'm a freshman at UM, and I recently graduated high school.
Very good, Susan. Thank you. And to kind of get us going into supply chain a bit, and I think to make it really relevant, it was actually Marta from Junior Achievement who shared with us some really good news about one of the companies, and maybe Susan, you can share a little bit of what you think about them.
Yes. So the great thing about Junior Achievement is the fact that you create this company, right? And so then in 2019, this company, Germ Genie, a JA Fellows company, was created to basically create a product that was meant towards eliminating risk and reducing risk of contracting germs and viruses to the consumer. And so then this group went ahead and created the product, which was this kit with a variety of different items inside the kit. I'm so sorry, one moment. I apologize. So yes, so what they did is they went ahead and created this product. It was a huge success. And it got to such a huge success that it was even featured in Forbes. So this was a group of teenagers just like you who went ahead, thought of an idea, made that idea a reality. And of course they had challenges, but it's the fact that they went ahead and really committed themselves to it, and it's a major success today. So that's what we hope that you guys get from this presentation, that yes, there are challenges in supply chain, but there's also really great gains and really important things that you can do, because a lot is changing, and that's a perfect opportunity for you guys.
Thanks, Susan. And I think what is really cool and also relevant when it comes to supply chain here, when it comes to Germ Genie and Henry, who led that team, was asked, what's been the most challenging? You just saw the market materials and the sales and all of that was very successful. So successful that, of course, unbeknownst to them, to the team, COVID struck us back in the first quarter, and suddenly their products became so relevant to so many people that they sold out of all the inventory that they had. They had to restock, but they had made a decision to source in China. So suddenly they were dealing with a very long supply chain with companies in China that were down to their knees when it comes to manufacturing and people not being able to work. And so they had to find new manufacturers. They had to find them closer to home. And they were struggling. So they were kind of, victim of their own success. And as Henry said, his team and himself had to work tirelessly for weeks to try to find new products and sourcing of those products while we were in this pandemic. So I think it's a very real life experience that Henry shares with the business community. So wanted to take that, right, and what the experience of one of your own in terms of Germ Genie, our own JA program and company has had with COVID, and I can tell you that is playing out all over the world. Supply chains all over the world are disrupted because of COVID, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit of what happened and how important this is and what maybe we can do with it. We know we all were blindsided by when this pandemic struck, and we've all seen the pictures of especially people in medical professions trying to figure out ways to keep themselves safe and healthy, wearing those garbage bags, for example, because simply the supply chain of PPE, the personal protective equipment, was simply broken. There was no way to get the right product to the people that so desperately needed it. At the same time, we were all making fun of, not getting toilet paper at, Home Depot or at the Publix. Shelves were barren for those products and others as well on a global scale. Suddenly demand shifted and changed. And at the same time, people didn't go to restaurants anymore for a period of time. So we had to dump milk and eggs and waste a lot of products there. So it clearly showed that, very, very quickly the pandemic, got the entire industry, many industries into a crisis where, goods production stalled and supply chains were crippled. If you look at some of the numbers that I have here, two quick tables, But one of the key things that happened was here in the US, for example, manufacturing output diminished dramatically. You see there back in April, almost 14% down from what it was, on a typical basis. And that means that demand is changing, manufacturing stops. People supporting manufacturing, suppliers of the manufacturers, people working in the manufacturing plants, companies that take products out of the plants into distribution centers, into transportation. The entire supply chain got hit really, really badly. Here's another one from basically the biggest manufacturing hub in the world, which is China, where we get most of our products from these days. And you see for different categories, it's like 25 to 30% down from what it used to be. So very significant impacts on global supply chains because of the change and reduction of demand by global consumers. But it also it will allow us to look differently at how we organize our supply chains in the future, our global supply chains in the future, because health experts are telling us this is not going to go away. We all know it. We're in this kind of second wave. Different waves might be coming. I'm not sure if it's going to be global or regional. We don't know how big or small it might be, but it is going to stay with us. There's a serious risk that is out there. But again, it's also the opportunity that we have to do something to ensure that products and services keep being delivered to the audience, to the consumers around the globe. So recommendations are that we need to think about how do we invest in capabilities that future-proof our businesses through very solid supply chains. We need to be resilient, more resilient than what we were. Well, we were really kind of caught with our pants down with COVID, so we can do better. We know that we moved a lot of manufacturing to Asia, to China, offshoring as we call that. So maybe we need to think about mixing up global, which is typically cheaper, and maybe more local manufacturer where we have a lower risk of losing products and not having output available to us. But also digital manufacturing. So there is traditional manufacturing, which we typically relate to manufacturing, but how about 3D printing, for example, right? Is that an area where we should invest in more and have an ability to put those printers closer to the consumers and basically print on demand, right? And those things, I think a lot of money is going to be flowing there to develop that type of manufacturing capabilities so that ultimately we can make our supply chains more resilient and more human. So that they support the consumers as we need our products going forward. So the opportunity is there. We are in a tough spot, a tough situation, but the opportunity is here for what I would say, for you guys. If you consider a career in business management, people like myself at my age, we've developed a supply chain of what it is now. You have an opportunity to basically say, we'll take the pieces that work, but we're going to enhance and add to that and make it better, so that we can have a supply chain that supports us going forward into the future, leveraging all the technologies and all the ideas that you guys have. So I think the future is bright and exciting. So that was just a little introduction, and hopefully you hear in my voice my excitement for supply chain and how important it is and how fun it can be as well. So bringing that to you and what the expectation is on you going forward now with the Junior Achievement Program is to develop your supply chain business plan, because that is what I believe is where most of you and your companies are at this moment, and maybe not all right at this time, but you will get there quickly. But at this point, you should have created your organization, should have identified the product that you want to bring to market, because there is going to be a need that you will be able to fill. And then there's going to be some next steps that we're going to ask you to take together with your mentor and the teachers. And part of that is where supply chain will come in. So that now that you know the product, you need to start thinking about, how do I source this product? Where do I get it from? Do I look internationally? Do I do it domestically? Do I make it myself? Am I going to use a manufacturer partner or a distributor? or, do I source it online? By the way, we call that typically the upstream supply chain. And then from the moment you have the product, how do you then get it to your consumers, which we call the downstream supply chain. Are you going to use, you deliver it yourself? Are you going to use, a UPS or a FedEx type of service? Am I going to inventory the product or not? Those are some of the questions that you will have to address as a team. Of course, now that is not something that is easy to be done. So Junior Achievement has created this program with a lot of tools and services to you that we certainly recommend for you to use and to follow the steps that are given here, the tasks, and we know, and we've been there, myself and Susan as well. If you follow those tasks, it's going to be a lot easier, and you're going to see success. And so I just wanted to ensure that if you do that, you can complete your your business snapshot, and you can really get your business up and running. Because ultimately, developing it, that's nice, but to get into the process of actually manufacturing and actually selling and actually earning some dollars, that is the cool stuff. So you want to do this relatively efficiently, quickly. So you can get to work on the really fun stuff after that. So I wanted to touch base on a few items that are critical in the supply chain team. So first of all, we want to ask you to select your supply chain leader. In my company, we call that the throat to choke. The person who is going to be responsible for everything that the team is going to do, make sure it's done on time and there's results delivered, and then to be able to communicate those results back to the company's organization, to the leadership, to the CFO and the CEO, and to align with the other business units. So that is very important to do that first. Then secondly, start thinking about that supply chain, as I just mentioned, to keep it somewhat high level, but think about and do your research on, all right, this is my type of product. So what other products I know of in the market, or maybe from other JA groups from the past, how did they do that, right? Did they outsource the manufacturing or not? Did they go offshore or not? Do some of that and come up with some recommendations for your team so that decisions can be made on how you're gonna organize your supply chain. Then you go into more detail and you really start looking at the actual sourcing of the product. So you're going to be connecting with suppliers, or you're going to set up your own manufacturing capability. And in business, especially when it comes to physical goods, when you source the cost of those goods, that's a very big chunk of your budget, right, of the financial situation of the company. So I would certainly recommend that when you start thinking as a supply chain team about sourcing and the products and the price of a product, make sure you include your financial team in that as well, in those decisions, because they will then understand how much money is left for sales and marketing and other efforts. But this is a big chunk of where the money will be going. So make sure you do that wisely, and you involve the rest of your organization as well.
I just want to let you know you have about 2 minutes left, so we can just leave some time for questions.
Okay. So same thing for production and distribution. Just think about where and how you do it, but also think about the quality of the product and the service levels that you will be able to expect from whoever you're going to do business with from a manufacturing perspective. So inventory control, important to make sure you understand the inventories and how the financial situation of your inventory, and don't have too much inventory, but if you run out of inventory, you cannot fulfill your order. So think about those things as well. So I would want to give Susan another minute to share with the team a little bit on her experience when going through all of this, what I just shared.
Alrighty. So our company was called Funky, and some of the challenges we had with supply chain were initially researching what we were going to do and what we were going to use, where we were going to get it. So the upstream supply chain. And so then that was a challenge because we had to figure out what was the most efficient and money savvy way of getting the product so that we could earn a profit. And that we really did go hand in hand with the finance department, because you can't purchase anything if you don't have the money for it. So we did go back to the drawing board a couple of times, and we had even purchased items and went over budget. So then we had to kind of get a little creative. We did like market research, and we created surveys to figure out what was our target audience, what were they looking for. And we did go through that a couple of times, and we were able to narrow down the products that we were going to use that A, were sustainable with the budget we had, and B, would actually make money. So it's okay if you do go back to the drawing board, because it's going to happen. You don't get everything perfect the first time. So like I said, always, like we said, always collaborate with the other departments of your company to really make sure that everything's going to go as smoothly as it can. Yeah, so that's it for me. Yeah, successes. We collaborated with other departments, even at our school, and we did create a profit. Let me see, I have it here. We did have a total revenue of $925, and we did donate 10% of our profits to JA, and 90% of our profits to the Broward Children's Foundation, because ours was a children's product. So yeah, that's it for me. I guess now it's time for questions.
Perfect, thank you. Bart, could you take us back, if you don't mind, stop sharing?
Absolutely, I will. So thank you all very much for listening to us. We hope you learned something. Let's do some questions, and have a wonderful time. Good luck with everything. Think in a chain. I think that's important. But you're going to do great if you're working collaboratively and with your JA organization and your mentor as well.
Perfect, thank you. Well, before I don't get any, I want to make sure I take some photos. So if everybody who would like to be in the photograph come back on screen, that would be wonderful. There we go. I see everybody popping back up. Thank you so much. All right, let's take a few photos. This is before we go back and we get taken out of our breakout. So amazing. Sorry, I have to scroll over a little bit. And if there's any questions, I have a lot of people who aren't on camera. Can everybody come back on camera? And you can start, we probably have a minute left for questions. If you want to put something in the chat, or just somebody just ask a question if you have one for Bart or Susan. That would be wonderful. Okay. All right, anything else you would just like to say, Bart, just to just another few minutes, probably a minute left of words of advice?
Yeah, so as I said, just follow the process, because it's all new. You know, like me being in business, you know, that's what you do. That's what you wake up for in the morning. I know you have a lot of other things on your plate as well. Strongly suggest, you know, JA has done this for many years. It's a proven process. It works. But of course, you know, be collaborative, ask questions, have a lot of fun. As Susan said, it's not a big issue to go back to the drawing board. We know there are going to be times where it's a little bit tougher than others otherwise, but that's okay. That's part of the process. And my experience is that everybody will ultimately end up with actually pretty cool products. And again, all the way to this shout out there in Forbes. And this is not the only one that I've seen more of that happening. You guys, you know, have the creativity. You guys, you know what you know the market is looking for, and it's just a matter of putting it together and executing it. And again, do that as a group. And you know how to engage also on the sales and marketing side of things with social media and social selling and all that stuff. That I know you guys are in really good shape to make this you know, a very, very successful endeavor. I'm not sure, Susan, if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah. So like we said, it's okay if you make mistakes. What happens, what you should do is find a way to make those mistakes benefit you. Like for us, this is a little tidbit. We overbought some items, and what we did instead was create mini kits. So instead of big ones that we sold, we made little ones, and then we use them as tokens of appreciation for our sponsors and teachers who helped us. So we didn't gain any money from that aspect, but we did show our appreciation. And that's also a really important part of business. Okay, guys? So like we said, have fun. You're going to make mistakes, but that's how you learn.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you. So Bart and Susan, you should be leaving, I believe. Thank you so very much. And I should have Aaliyah should be with us.
Hi, Claire. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Bart. Thanks, Susan. That was amazing. And I am here representing Aaliyah because she has had some technical difficulties and some issues. So I am joined by Kayla, though. So where is Kayla? Can I see her? She is our JA Fellows alum from last year. So she will share her experience. We're going to talk about marketing and sales until they come. But first off, I just wanted to ask you if you all received, and you can, just show me your hands, if you all received the documentation from our Dropbox that included all of the forms you need, all of the business task lists that you need in order to start working on your program. So I see Kennedy Clark saying yes. Alrighty, Orlando, Amanda, perfect. Mariana, great. Isabella, awesome. So if you all received it, that's great. If you haven't received it, please let us know. That way we make sure that you have your online credentials, because that's what we actually need. You guys need your online credentials in order to log in your online platform to have access to the curricula, and that curricula includes all of the forms and documentation that you need in order to run your program. So with that said, I would like to introduce Miss Kayla Rucker, and she is our amazing JA Fellows alum from last year. She was president of Atlantic Tech High School last year. She's now doing an amazing internship with a company, and then she will let us know a little bit of business practices that she shared. But first off, if you could introduce yourself, Kayla, that would be amazing.
Hello, as Ms. Rios stated, I'm Kayla. I was the president of JA's Terra company at Atlantic Tech last year, and I had a really great experience. I learned a lot, and obviously I've moved on to bigger and better opportunities in the realm of digital marketing with a company called Tenuity. I'm doing a internship and hopefully following up with another internship after this program, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about digital marketing throughout the internship and applying my knowledge that I've learned last year being a president of a junior achievement company. And yes, that's a little bit about me. I'm also a student at Broward College.
All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if you actually get to see it. This is the sales business team task list. The other documentation that I shared with you guys today was the marketing business team task list and the sales tracking document. So let's go over some of these documents. I'll start with the marketing task list, and just want to ensure that you all have opened it up, at least that you guys have been able to share with your teams who will be taking over this responsibility. Even though the company hasn't selected the leadership team yet, as far as our own schedule, we do want to ensure that everybody in the marketing team and in the sales teams knows and is familiar with this team task list, right? So obviously selecting a leader within the company is crucial. Selecting a leader within that specific business unit is crucial. There is a marketing prep document that will allow you to see exactly what are the next steps and the next action items for your planning and for your execution. Obviously a name for your company, determine which social media platforms you guys will be using, so on and so forth. So the best way in order to use this document, in my opinion, is to check out what the task is, who the leader for that specific task will be, and what is the deadline for the task, what are the results, and what is the status. I don't know if you guys are familiar with any of the documentation that or any other apps and applications needed in order to successfully run a project. This is basically a project based learning program, right? And project management is such an important asset for you all to have, not only for marketing, but for any other of the business units. Now, I would like you to let me know if you have actually enrolled into the platform, because inside the platform, there is a very short project management tool for you to know more of the steps needed in order to put that into practice. So if you could help me out by sharing your, maybe just with your hands or with some of the signs, if you have actually logged into the online platform. I don't see anybody sharing. So you guys have not logged into the online platform yet? Okay, Mariana Gutierrez, I see her. She has logged in already. So have you, okay, so is there a reason why you haven't logged into the online platform? I just want to ensure that I'm able to help. Have you guys not received your online credentials yet, or have you had issues with the passwords? Is that something that you could tell me? And I can't see the chat room, so if you want to write on the chat room, that would be great.
And I can help with that, Martha. I'll monitor the chat.
That would be awesome.
I have a question from Ilanda is asking, what do you mean by the online platform?
The online platform is the JA Fellows online curricula, and I can use, you know what, I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm actually going to share the few slides that were part of my presentation, which we had to move. Can you see my screen? Claire, if you could tell me, that would be great. Yes, if you could speak, because I can't see.
I'm so sorry. Yes, we can.
Thank you. Appreciate it, my friend. Okay, so. Okay. So you can see that I'm going back.
And I believe we may have Ilea who has joined us.
Oh, really? Okay, that's awesome. So I'll give it to Ilea in just a second. What I do want to make sure is that people, oh gosh, what happened? Oh, hold on. No, I don't want to show any videos. I just want to ensure to show you I would really like to show you the online platform credentials. Here it is. Can you see that slide?
Yeah.
Online platform. Okay, so this is what I mean by the online platform, guys. Learn.ja.org. Student, your username is an email that we have created, and your lead teacher will give you that information, and your password is password1 or password exclamation or password123 exclamation. And I have instructions for teachers and volunteers as well. If this is something you need further information with, please invite me into your classroom. It's a quick 15-minute presentation that I'll be happy to do. And with that said, I am now going to give it back to Claire. Thank you, Claire.
Okay, is Kayla Rucker on the call?
Yes, I'm right here.
Kayla, hi, how are you?
I'm
Kayla,
good. How are you?
Good. Kayla is one of our other JA alumni. And Kayla, you were the president of one of our companies at Atlantic Tech, and you're currently interning. So could you tell us a little bit about your experience with the program?
In my experience, I definitely had to challenge myself. I actually volunteered to be the leader in this organization and to become ultimately a leader at my school. As nerve-wracking as that was, I don't regret it at all. I experienced that team building was definitely number one. Learning to listen to my teammates and understand all of their skill sets as well as their weaknesses really helped us understand each other, not as just teammates and people who are working together, but also as people. And it was easier for us to understand each other's new ideas and consider them in a better way, I guess you would say. That helped us to create a brand and a product that was not only recognizable, but was also admirable in the eyes of the public. And it really drove people to say, we not only want this product, but we also want to support the people who are creating it. And at Spark Tank, it was my first time presenting to a group of successful individuals in the community. And that was also very nerve-wracking. But it pushed me to really be there for my teammates who are also very nervous and support them, but also to motivate everyone to put their best foot forward and to be confident in our product and in what we had to present to the leaders that day. Selling within the community was not challenging for me personally. I found that just being very open and friendly with people really went a long way in connecting with them, not only because of the product, but on a personal level as well, especially interacting with families and their children and things like that. It was rewarding in bringing sales, but also having people not just be interested in the products, but having people be interested in the meaning behind the product. We sold bracelets that were biodegradable, 100% biodegradable, and they were inspired by monarch butterflies. So I think that really interested people, and it made them want to go the extra mile to support what we were doing. So all in all, my experience taught me that collaboration, humility, organization, and communication were key to running a successful company and marketing our product very well.
Perfect, thank you. And how did you, can you talk a little bit more about how you marketed the product? What avenues did you use?
We used lots of flyers and banners because we sold in person. We were lucky enough to have the opportunity to sell at in-person events throughout the city of Coconut Creek. So we used our banners and we used small handouts this small, with a little bit of information about our company. We had a mascot for our company that was drawn up by one of our teammates. And we were able to use that to kind of catch the eye of not just adults, but children. They really liked the illustrations and things like that.
Perfect. That sounds, does anybody have any questions for Carla? You have somebody who's already been through the program, was successful. So does anybody have any questions they would like to ask her about the marketing piece or the product or the idea?
I would actually like to ask her about her internship. Is that something you already talked about, Kayla?
Not in depth, no. Oh, you're on mute, Ms. Rios.
Sorry, we only have like 1 more minute to go before we all go back into the main room, but if you could share about that, that would be awesome.
So right now at Tenuity, we are doing it remotely, but we're learning about all of the different departments within their digital marketing firm. It's actually one of the most successful digital marketing firms there are. They work with brands like Target, Elf, Etsy, Walmart, Amazon, all of these different companies. And basically they provide services to their clients that help them market their products or market their services to other businesses as well. And I'm currently learning all of the different responsibilities of the departments, such as creating ads, creating campaigns on Google, like the ads that you'll see when you search products up, and things of that nature.
Awesome. We really appreciate that, Kayla, you sharing your experience. We had the opportunity to partner up with Tenuity, which is a digital marketing organization in California, and they gave us the great honor to select a few of our top JA Fellow students for this opportunity, and Kayla was one of them, so we are super excited about that. So right now we're going to go back to our main room, and we'll have a couple of JA Fellows alum share their experience. So Kayla might repeat some of what she has said. However, remember, this is only the sales and the marketing room. So we'll let everybody else know about the amazing experiences that she has had. If nobody has any questions, we will be moving on. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll get back to you. And as I mentioned before, should you have any questions about login or anything in regards to the program, please feel free to send me an invitation, even if it's 15 minutes. I think it's always helpful to know all of the resources that we have available for your entrepreneurial experience. So thank you, and we'll see you soon.
We are good to go.
And am I allowed to share my screen?
Yes, you should have. Do you have capacity to do that?
I think so.
All right.
We have the technology. I don't know how well the technology will work, but we'll try it.
I know you love technology, but you just, when it doesn't work, it's so not good. So I'd like to welcome Les and Hunter. Les is the vice president of HG Sims Company, and he's been with a JA board member for, gosh, more than 20 years. And he's been a JA Fellows mentor for, I think since way back in 2014. So welcome, and thanks for joining us today, Les.
Thank you, Jill. And my colleague is Hunter Dorman, who was the president of the Good Sense student company at Stoneman Douglas last year, and I had the privilege of working with him. So, Hunter, thank you for joining us today. We only have, I think, 20 minutes, and so we're going to try to go through this fairly quickly. And what I will do is just take a few minutes to kind of give you, in my mind, some things that will be helpful to you. So let me see if I can pull up this slideshow here. Can you guys see my slideshow?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, that's one of our classes from Stoneman Douglas at a competition. I want to just kind of, again, going to do this very quickly. I think of the JA Fellows program in two kind of elements. One is running a business, and that's the most important aspect of it. But there's also a competition element to this, and we'll just talk a little bit about that. So you're going to create and you're going to run a business, and how do you go about doing that? You'll get organized. You're going to capitalize that company. Oftentimes that's through selling some stock. You know, lots of ways to capitalize a business, but that's typically how you'll do that here. You're going to need some capital to buy your initial inventory and things like that. You have to create a product. You have to create a great product, and we'll talk just a little bit about that. And what we're trying to accomplish here, what you're trying to accomplish here, is to really learn through hands-on experience how to run a business. And we do that for profit. There are, in many cases, in most cases, these companies are set up. You'll also be speaking to some social impact, some benefit, some greater good that might well, you know, result from your running of your program. Just very briefly on the competitions, you know, that's a fun part of the program. The first competition is the Spark Tank program, which will be held, I think, early next month. Basically, the Spark Tank competition gives your company an opportunity to tell everybody what your business plan is, what you're going to do. The Company of the Year program at local and national levels, those are programs where you tell everybody what you did and what you accomplished. Those kind of focus a lot on things like your annual report, stage presentation. They're a lot of fun. That's down the road. But think of the Spark Tank coming up as really going to be your opportunity to tell the world what you're going to do with your company. So, you know, I identified some keys for JA's companies being successful. And the first one, and I'm not going to go through all of these in detail, but I think really the most important one is what Lori Salarula, the president of JA, said earlier. You've got to come up with something that you can be passionate about. If you're just selling, you know, a widget that, you know, just buying it on Alibaba and marking it up, that's not going to probably capture your imagination. Try to find something that will be a really a product, a cause that you can benefit from and be passionate. And my students always look at these. One of the first things we do in a program is watch a Simon Sinek TED Talk, and I would encourage you to just jot that down. You can Google Simon Sinek, How Great Leaders Inspire Action. And what he does is he talks about why you're in business. Forget what the product is. Initially, think about what you want to accomplish, what program is important to you. And I think that's really important. Being able to create passion for your business. You may want to just take a screenshot of this. I'm not going to go through all these things, but we have found that it's really important to have good officers, that you have a good breakdown of responsibilities between departments, having a good relationship with advisors. The charitable element is important. And finally, and probably most important to ultimately determine the success of the company, is being able to choose a great product. So what is a great product? Again, it really speaks to why you're in business. It meets a need. It gives value to a customer. It can be produced in a way that generates some profit. You know, these days, being able to use technology is pretty important too, because, you know, you may not have as many in-person sales opportunities as you've had in the past. So those are basically the elements that I wanted to just kind of go through. This is a, and I think you guys all have this. You're all in, I think, either in the management or finance company departments, and this is available to you. And these are basically the tasks that you'll be responsible for as part of the management team. And again, I won't go through all of those things, but some of them are more important than others. I think, again, it's being able to come up with a good organization in your department, figuring out who's going to do what, accountability, and that type of thing. So I know that's very fast, but I want to turn it over now to Hunter and ask him to kind of tell us what his experience has been, what worked for him and what didn't. Hunter, I've got those two other Adobe files, the company charter and the business snapshot. If you want me to put those up, let me know. But I turn it over now to the great former president, Hunter Dorman.
Awesome. Thank you, Les. Thank you so much. And yeah, as Les said earlier, my name is Hunter Dorman. I was the president last year at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas for the JA Company of Good Sense. And before I go into like my experience and what I got out of it, I want to quickly go over those two documents real quickly. So Les, can you go to the charter document for me real quick? Yes, I know everyone has these documents, but some important things I found on these documents that I overlooked my year. So I would want to outline them for you guys. Right there under guiding principle 1, it says that members are encouraged to invest in their own company. And I take that as the overall success of your company is going to be determined by how much effort and how much energy you put into it. So you got to make sure that you're going into it with 110% every day. So you make sure that you come out successful. And that's for everyone. That's not just for the president and vice president positions of your company. That's for all members of the company, because it matters for everyone's involvement, and the overall success will be determined from that. And then over on the snapshot page, Wes, on the other document, this is something that you should fill out as soon as possible for all of you guys and refer to it consistently throughout the year, because it sort of leads where your company is going to go to. It sort of directs you in your approach to everything. Like under marketing, it will put down your target audience, so you can determine from that where you're going to market your product, where is most efficient to market your product to reach your specific target audience. And you just need to make sure that you can refer back to this throughout the year, so you maintain your success and you maintain your company's growth over time. And, you know, just if you're not under all these things like marketing as a team lead, sales as a team lead, just as I said before, even if you're not the team lead, you still need to make sure that like you're referring back to this and you're staying engaged and you're staying involved so that your company can continue to grow over the course of the year. So with those two out of the way, I'll now go over my experience and what I've gained out of the JA program overall and some quick tips I have for you. And the first one I already sort of went over, so I won't linger on it, but make sure you stay involved. This isn't your typical 4-person school project. It's much larger than that. It's much grander than that. So you can't go at it with the mindset where, you know, I can carry the whole thing. I can carry the whole company, because it's not going to come out as good as you think it is. You need to work together as a team. You need to communicate. You need to manage every single aspect of the company. This is, you know, this is real. This is the real deal right here. So you need to look at it with, you need to work together as a company, not just, you know, each portion does each department does their own responsibilities. You need to do it as one all together, because that's gonna lead to your biggest success.
Hunter, what was the biggest challenge for the program last year? I mean, I was involved in it, and I would suspect it was supply chain, but we also had challenges with respect to marketing. What did you learn from the difficulties that you encountered, and what would you kind of advice would you give to folks as they begin to develop these companies, things to watch out for?
Yes, last year we definitely had troubles with supply chain and marketing, and those difficulties and troubles could have easily been avoided by planning ahead of time. You know, we were kind of going at it one task at a time and not thinking so much into the future of it all. So you got to look at everything from all angles, and you got to determine your risks with something, and you got to determine risks with other things. So one thing to help with that is to sort of like set company deadlines and make sure like you reach them. Like set company goals, have a monthly schedule that you got to like, you know, we got to have this done by this day. We got to have this out by that day. And so that'll keep you on track instead of just, you know, oh, we just finished the last task. Let's go to the next one, right? You got to think of more than just one step at a time. You got to think as a whole, as a company moving forward, or not just focus on marketing. Okay, now focus on sales. Okay, now focus on finance. Think of it all at one time, so that you don't fall behind in one department and, you know, get lost, get sidetracked, fall behind on schedules and deadlines.
So I made a big deal out of the why of the company and trying to develop passion for what you're doing. Could you tell us a little bit about how that impacted you? What was your cause last year, and how did it kind of filter through the development and the marketing of the company?
So yes, definitely. What last year, for some context, Good Sense sold a portable air freshener, which was a stone, and you placed essential oils on it, which dispersed it for wherever you placed it. And the why of our company was because, you know, constantly every day, day after day, it seems to be getting more and more stressful. COVID has just exemplified that issue. And so we wanted to combat or solve that solution, but not through chemicals, not through things that are harmful for you to breathe in, because air fresheners are already a thing in the market. They're already established. It's already it's a growing industry. But we had to differentiate ourselves, and that was our why. We wanted to do it through a healthy and meaningful and portable way. And that helped us in our marketing because it made us stand out from your big name companies that we were competing against, and made it so that people would consider a smaller company like us as compared to some big name car air freshener or room air freshener company brands. And that's how it helped. That's how it helped our marketing scheme and our marketing plan out, was our why. It allowed us to stand out and allowed us to sell more product because we had a meaningful why set right at the center of the company.
I think one thing that's helped our companies also has been able to establish some strategic relationships, in some cases through advisors, in some cases through students, where we were able to expand our network of people that we were able to meet. We, for example, our charity that we supported was Parkland Cares, and we were able to kind of tie into their social media network and go to some of their events, their 5K and that type of thing. Your advisors may well know people in the business community that would be great resources for you in terms of potentially getting product as vendors, marketing. So don't be shy about asking that question. Everybody wants to help you. Everybody wants you to be successful here. So absolutely do that. The worst that can happen is somebody says, no, I don't have time for it. But nobody's going to say that. You know, take advantage of those opportunities. Did anybody, I don't know if we're supposed to be done at...
Yep, I just heard from Martha, and we can go till 10:30. So
okay. I have a hard stop at 10:25. So I think we kind of rushed through this thing trying to kind of get you a bunch of information, but I'd love to hear from any of the students that have any questions. Please feel free to unmute and ask us anything. I know Joe is on the line, a great mentor and advisor who's been involved. Joe might want to say one or two. Joe's always got something to say. So if you would like to join in, Joe, I thank you for joining us today. And your backdrop is a lot nicer than my backdrop. I got to come over and do my Zooms from you.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, Joe?
Well, just wanted to jump in a little bit. Actually, I have the session coming up behind you. So just like any speaker, you want to get familiar with the room that you're in. And so I wanted to drop in. But, you know, Les has been involved with fellows for, you know, a lot of years. I was involved early on and then, you know, engaged in it and then do what I can with it. But it's a great program. But what Hunter said was really important, is that you've got to take this seriously, because this is a business and there's a lot of learning. There's a big opportunity to learn some lessons now in this environment that you'll remember forever. And so the exposure that you have, the mentors that you have, you'll look back later on and say, wow, I only now realize how much value I took out of this exercise. But you have to be engaged. And the other thing that I would want to stress is you have to engage others too. You're all leaders in your company. And one of the things that I've seen in a number of companies, if the leaders are not intent on engaging the rest of the company, then others will start losing interest. It's not, you know, again, Hunter made the comment that you can't do it all yourself. If you try to do it yourself, put it all on your shoulders, you're not going to get the results. Not only are you not going to get the results, but others aren't going to get the value out of the exercise. So, you know, have fun with it, drive the business. You've got a history of success, build on it. And this program is a wonderful program, and be a leader. Les?
Yeah, the one other thing I'm going to just say is I'm just go back to the Spark Tank presentation. Don't miss that opportunity, folks, to develop your business plan. Really look at that as a critical benchmark that you have to look to at that point to be able to go tell the world what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. Think through what your business plan is. Develop your product. Understand what your options are from the supply chain. Do surveys for your target audience. First of all, try to figure out what your target customer is, what they look like. Are they older? Are they younger? Are they guys? Are they girls? Are they dogs? Figure out what that target market is and do some surveys. And when you go to the Spark Tank, be able to tell people that. You have to be able to, at that point, clearly communicate what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And don't ever forget also that it's important to be able to communicate on why you're in business. What need are you filling? How are you different than the other guys? You have to have differentiating factors here. And so, you know, I will tell you that first 15 seconds when your president or whoever gets up in front of the Spark Tank or at the year-end competition, when you're saying, this is what we are, and this is what we do, and this is why we do it, that's really important. You're either going to grab the audience and they're going to be engaged at that point, and they say, oh, God, another company just, you know, reselling t-shirts or whatever. So use that Spark Tank particularly as a tool to get your company organized and really think through these important business elements. Use that business snapshot as a guideline, but really think through it and talk to folks. And I would also tell you, JA has got a lot of resources. Martha does a great job. She will bend over backwards helping you in any way that you can. I know Jill's available as a resource as well. you know, do that. And please, you're going to get out of this what you put into it. That's all it comes down to, hard work and passion and all that stuff. We found in the past that about 2/3 of the students get engaged and really get a lot out of this, and 1/3 of them just sit back and just, you know, just kind of ride along. And it's unfortunate, because this truly is a great opportunity that you've got here. You learn about business in school. What you're able to do here is, through hands-on experience, understand what running a business is. And it's for real money, right? This is not a paper exercise. At the end of the year, if you're successful, you're going to get a nice check from your stock investment. So that's a nice thing too. Really congratulate you all for getting involved in this thing. I really wish you the best. And I'm going to have to hop off here, but I'm going to see if Hunter has any more comments, and maybe he can answer any questions that might come from the audience. So again, thank you guys so much. Really looking forward to seeing your presentations at the Spark Tank, and on behalf of Stoneman Douglas, we look forward to beating you all in the year-end competition. So you take care.
Thank you, Les.
Thank you, Les.
Okay, bye.
Hey, Hunter, would you be able to share like one of your aha moments with us? Like, you know, what was one thing that you just, I mean, it really just struck you? And while Hunter is doing that, can you guys all turn on your cameras so I can cycle through and take a couple pictures? Thank you.
Yeah, I can quickly go over and do that. And while I'm doing that, if anyone has a question, just go ahead and type it in the chat. One of the aha moments that we had as a company actually came early on, and it really showed that we were having an impact on people, and that we were a good company, that the community that we were affecting positively, and they enjoyed us. We were selling at one of the actual Panther ice hockey games one day, and we sold an air freshener to a nice young lady, and she bought it, went home and used it, and she actually enjoyed it so much that she came to the next Panther game that we were selling at, and she said, I want to buy 3 more for my 2 daughters and my husband, because I enjoyed it that much. And that was a real aha moment, that we were having a positive impact on the people that we were interacting with, that we were selling our product to, that they would come back to a $60 ticket gaming event just so that they could buy our air freshener, our product. And that was, you know, those aha moments that you will experience along your process as a company really do boost your like motivation and your you know, your energy levels towards the company, because they're nice to experience and they're nice to have.
All right, Hunter, there's one question in the chat. Is there anything you learned from trial and error that would be beneficial for the company as a whole that was directed, oh, that was for Hunter.
Yes, one thing, and I mentioned it earlier, was to engage your company, to engage your members. I definitely started the company off kind of placing a priority on the leaders of the company, on the team roles, on the leaders of each department. And that ended up hurting us in the long run, because I wouldn't get as much feedback from everyone. You know, I'm getting feedback from like 5 people instead of getting feedback from 30 people, which would be the entire company. And we definitely hit issues like that right at the start. And I had to definitely pivot my attitude and my direction towards it all, to engage with the company and ask questions to everyone, and not just the vice president of supply chain what they think is best, and not just the vice president of marketing what they think is best. That was definitely a point where I learned my lesson very early on. Joe, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I am muted. I've got a bad habit of doing that. How is college going?
Oh, it's great. In case anyone goes to the University of Central Florida, I'm ready to see you charge on up in Orlando. It's the best school to go to. I didn't say that, but.
Oh, yes, you did. That's awesome. Anybody else have any other questions? Go ahead and shout them out or put them in the chat, where I think we're probably almost ready to switch groups. All right. Thank you so much, Hunter.
Thank you so much. You're all going to do great. You're going to do awesome. I wish you all luck.
Awesome.
Good luck to you, Hunter.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, I think we can go ahead and start the second session. Joe, I know you're here, and I see Leah as well.
Okay.
Yep, thank you so much for coming and joining us. Yeah, Leah, you're here too, right?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Okay, no, thank you both for joining us. So we have Joe Schumacher. He is the president and CEO of WinJeff Enterprises. He is a JA Fellows board member. He's a JA South Florida board member, and he's done JA Fellows for how long, Joe?
Well, going back actually to the first year that we had fellows, I was involved with the university school, and
Awesome.
then back and forth and participate however I can.
Awesome.
So it's a great program.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining us. And we also have Leah Goldberg online. She is the JA Student Company Vice President at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. So welcome, and she is at the University of Florida right now.
Hey.
All right, you guys.
We ready to get started?
Yes, you are.
Excellent. Again, the virtual presentations are always a little bit different. It's great when we can get together as a group. But this year we do things a little bit differently, and we're going to move right along because we only have 20 minutes. And this topic we could spend as much time as you wanted. We could spend a day, a week on it, and so we're not going to be able to do a deep dive, but we're going to be touching on a lot of different subjects. I'm going to just take a couple minutes and sort of frame finance, but in reality, frame the business. I was sitting in on Les's session just in front of this one, and he was explaining, you know, how business would come together. And one thing that you have to realize is that all organizations, business is a subset of organization. It's a type of organizations. But all organizations exist to create a benefit for their stakeholders. And so you have to do two things. You have to define who the stakeholders are, and then you have to define what benefit is going to be provided. A business is unique within that group of organizations. A business is unique in that it attempts to achieve a financial performance and some of its key stakeholders are people that are looking on a return for investment. So again, the financial reward is part of it. But I'm going to come back in a few minutes and talk about the fact that it's not the only part of it. And so, but we have. Leah, you were going to cover some of the tools. Now, I'm not sure how we're going to pop those on the screen. Jill, do I have control of the screen, or do you have control of the screen?
You should have control.
Okay, well then I'm going to see if I can get, you know, on the share screen. Let's see. And if we take a look, we had basically 3 different documents, and Leah, would you want to just touch base and talk about these a little bit? I could open up, say like the.
Yes, I was planning on discussing the task list initially, and then going through the workbook. So okay. I know you guys all likely have the task list sent to you guys, but I just wanted to highlight some key points that I think are super essential. So initially picking here, I can share my screen as well to show the task
okay,
list.
Are you seeing the task list? I have it up here.
Yes.
Or
okay.
Are you still seeing my old one? Okay, why don't you go ahead and take the screen? That way you can move between the 3 of them.
So I think selecting a leader for your business team is definitely the most important initial task, because this person is going to take charge, and you need to find somebody that's definitely quantitative and responsible and can lead the entire team. I think for our company, we had, her name was Zoe, and she was super on top of it. She engaged all of the other leaders, the supply chain, the marketing, management. I was director of management. And so working together was essential for the success of our company. And then as I go down here, initially managing the financial records, you need to make sure that you're on top of all of the numbers, because if you mess up or miss a certain digit, it could really have a core effect on the success of your company. So make sure whoever decides to be the team leader is on top of that and you guys are all working together. And then as we go down here, so I don't know at what phase you guys are in the process. Have they done the Spark Tank yet, or?
No, they wouldn't have done the Spark Tank yet.
Okay.
We're still getting fact. Do we have a date for Spark Tank?
We do, and you're going to ask me what that date is, aren't you?
Well, no, the question was just whether we had one or not.
we do have one, and let me text Martha, and I will.
And we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think before you guys get to that point, it's super essential to discuss the potential expenses for your company. And I think initially we didn't realize that, you know, packaging and marketing costs and different supplies for sales events, you really have to take those costs into account when creating your company. So it's essential to really look at the overall big picture, not just the cost of the product itself. And then let's go down here. Making sure you're working with the other teams, that's super essential. So supply chain, I think, really went hand in hand with finance, because they were discussing, you know, where they were going to get the product from and how we can make it the most cost effective in order to optimize our profits at the end. But working with sales and marketing is also super essential. And then breaking even. So overall, you just want to see how much capital is really needed for your company and where you're going to get that capital. So whether everyone, for our company, we had everyone invest a certain amount of money, and based on how much you invested was your return. So you'll go through that and see how much we think we need. Are we going to have any investors? So, and definitely work with your volunteer, because we found a lot of, we had a lot of help with that, and that ended up being really beneficial for our company. And then if you wanted to, Joe, do you have the worksheet that you could share the screen? I wasn't able to.
Yes, I do. And the worksheet is rather large.
Yeah, and if you wanted to add anything, Joe.
Okay, no, did fine. And are you seeing that on my screen now?
So now we're back to the big screen. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, and again, there's so much detail here. You're going to have to go through and you know, work through the workbook and take a look at all the tabs at the bottom, the overview, the budget. You can see that in 20 minutes, we can't possibly touch on all the different aspects what's in this workbook. It's very, very comprehensive. And so now, if you have any questions or, you know, make sure that you get to, you know, to your volunteers, or even send an email to me. I'll give you my email address, actually. I'll type it right here.
Yeah, and I just want to add, it definitely initially looks super complex, but just utilizing your resources, utilizing your volunteers and your teacher and your classmates to help you go through the process, because with finances, you want to make sure that you're being super careful with the numbers and not messing any of it up, especially initially when you're gaining all your capital and figuring out your initial cost. So just slowly go through it, and the process won't be as difficult as it looks.
Okay. Well, I was trying to type into that, and it wasn't letting me. So probably because the cells are locked. But my email address, if you wanted to jot it down, is Schumacher, SCHUMACHER M-A-C-K-E-R, at Spares, SPAREZINC.com. That's Spares Inc. My primary business is the Spares Bowling Center in Davie, and so which is kind of a unique business. But if there's any questions about any of these that you have and you want to reach out, then certainly I'd enjoy the opportunity to work with you on that. Leah, do you want to go to the other one too, or do you want to talk anything more about this one? There's the other document is this workbook. That's one. And we actually had two of those, and there's just a lot of detail there.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of detail. I think just going through, especially like the investor tracking, keeping track of all the amount of money that all your students and classmates are putting in is super important. And then if you wanted to go to the budget, I think with budgeting, it's a little bit complex because depending on where you're sourcing your product from, you can find a lot of different pricings, but you need to make sure that you're not just going for the cheapest product, because we found to have a few issues with the quality of the product based on the price. And so looking at all of your different options before you make any purchases is super essential for your company. Yeah.
Well, that's actually, because again, being respectful of the time frame that we're under, you can see how we could take a long time to and really develop this and have a good work session. Don't get tangled up in the minutia. Try to understand what's trying to be accomplished in each section. And then if you have questions, ask those questions. But one of the pieces that I wanted to touch on, because a lot of times business, gets a bad rap, and in terms of what a business really exists for. In my opening comments, I said, talked about stakeholders, and yes, there's a financial piece of a business. Businesses need to satisfy their stakeholders. Part of their stakeholder group are owners or investors. And that typically leads to a desire to have a financial return. But it's very important to understand that business has more stakeholders than just investors. That you have you serve a purpose in the general culture, in society, and there's two concepts that I'd like you to jot down and do a little research on the side. One is called a benefit corporation, and then the second is conscious companies. If you just Google conscious companies, you'll find a lot of detail there. Benefit corporations is actually a corporate structure that's established and says, hey, look, your role is to serve the needs of the community, not just your investors. Now, conscious companies are companies like the original Whole Foods. Before Amazon purchased them, that was formed as a conscious company. A Container Store, if you're familiar with Container Stores, formed as a conscious company to have a role in the community and to support the community beyond the profit and loss creation. Obviously, they were both very successful financially, and they created a good financial return, but they also took care of their staff. They also took care of their community. And one of the interesting connections between Whole Foods and the Container Store is the two founders of those were roommates in college. And they thought about this, and they said, when I get out of school, this is what I want to do. I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't want to just grind it out just to make a bunch of money and then call it quits. I want to form a company that has a role in a community, and that then can say that we did well. We supported our staff. We have good programs. We provided jobs. We provided support to the community. Now, to tie that all together in finance, finance folks are tied up with, are focused on dollars and cents. The funds flowing through the organization. At the end of the day, you want to have more left over what you started, what was put in. Don't be consumed with the funds themselves and the dollar amount. Be consumed with the uses of those. Make the business efficient in its use of funds, and then make the proceeds go to work. Each of you are, it's recommended, at least I'm not sure whether it's mandated now, but to have an organization that you support with part of your profits. That is part of being a conscious company. And so take a look at that, and then really look at how finance fits into that, and don't fall into this mindset that it's all about maximizing profit. It's all about maximizing value that your enterprise creates across all of your stakeholders. And so with that, Leah, do you want to talk some about your experience in the program, you know, what it did, you know, what it meant to you, and
Yes, I would love to. So my name is Leah Goldberg. I am a current freshman at the University of Florida studying finance, and junior achievement truly was what helped me decide to study finance. That really shaped my passion for entrepreneurship, and I honestly had an incredible experience, and I'm super excited for you guys to embark on this journey. It really was such a good time. And as Joe was saying, especially with finance, it's really not about maximizing the profit. It's about maximizing the value. And I think with this experience, you really just gain an inside look, like you're dealing with real money, you're dealing with real people, real sales, real events. And so you really get an inside look into what a future in this could potentially be like. I mean, you need to really take this experience to your advantage, because it truly is an incredible experience, and you really do get what you put into it. So yeah, my experience with this, I'm from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. So I was part of the Good Sense company, and I was the management director. So our company, we created an air freshener that was portable. It was made out of a diatomite rock, and it could be attached to your air freshener in your car or in your bathroom. It was a portable, non-electric air freshener, and our whole company's mission was to promote happiness and promote good energy through a good scent. And going off of that, I think our company, we definitely struggled initially just coming up with a solid concept, finding a good supplier. We had issues with suppliers, we had issues with sales events, but overall, I gained so much from this experience, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world. So if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to ask. And yes.
So Leah, what was a couple of your biggest obstacles that you overcame, or a big challenge that you guys had to work through as a team?
Yeah, so initially finding the supplier was super challenging for us. We had initially tried to find somebody through Alibaba to create the rocks for us that we were going to then infuse with an essential oil. And we got the product in the mail. We were super excited. It had taken a long time, and they all came super damaged. The boxes were all fully damaged. The product was not anything that it had said. They sent us a sample, which looked good. And then the product itself, which we had purchased about 550 units of, were all damaged. And so that was a major challenge for us. We ended up purchasing another kind and getting refunds on that. And so it ended up working out for us. But I definitely think as I was mentioning before, with the quality of the product, you need to make sure that whoever you're purchasing the base from, or whatever products, that you really look into that, because that could be a major setback, both financially and just for the whole setup of your company. I see a question in the chat.
If I could add a point to that.
Yes.
You can define value in two ways. It's either what you put into your product so you can charge more, or what you take out so you can charge less. So if you're going to be a discounter and you're going to go to the low end and procure your stuff, then you're driving to the low value end. If you're going to command a higher price, then you have to have a higher value to it. If you try to charge a high price for a low value item, you're going to be out of business in a hurry.
Exactly.
So remember, premium value, discount value. Value is what you put into it so you can charge more, or what you take out so you can charge less.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And then going off, I was hearing what Hunter was saying earlier. He was saying that working as a team was a major thing for us. I think initially we were super excited. We were, vice presidents and directors, and we, as leaders, we really wanted to come together and just work together. But it's super important to engage your entire class and work within your smaller teams, because you guys all can bring so much value to your company, and somebody could come up with an idea that could truly make your company explode. So just working with everyone is super important.
Okay, how are we doing on time, Jill?
Yeah, I think we're just about ready to go back. If everybody can turn on their camera so I can take a photo, or a couple photos, that would be lovely. Martha would be super happy.
Last photo.
Yes, a class photo. All right, let me hide myself.
While Jill's doing that, have fun with this. This is a project. It's a challenge, and boy, you'll get frustrated with that. But overall, have fun with it. It's an opportunity to do some stuff that you hadn't had before. And being an entrepreneur is, I wouldn't change anything about it. I worked in a company for 17 years in a corporation, and then I've owned my own businesses since then. And it's great to do that.
Wow. Yep. I think we're all getting ready to move back.
Excellent. Thanks, folks.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. Just want to ensure that we're all back in the main virtual room. If I could get a yes from one of my colleagues. Everybody back?
Yes, we are back.
Yes, we're back.
Thank you. Want to thank once again our amazing mentors, Les, Joe, Leah, Hunter. They were all great. Kayla, Susan, Bart. Thank you so much. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go, and this, guys, will only take us about 3 minutes. So we got to go fast. The last things we need to do are the JA Fellows Alum Panel, which we will have some of your past colleagues share their experience. And then we do need to fill out an online survey for today. So let me go ahead and invite into our room the amazing Leah, Susan, Hunter, Zadie. I just want to ensure that you guys are here, and I'm going to stop sharing this now, and I'm going to go back into the room. So I hope you guys are back, and I just want to ensure that you guys present yourselves. Just let us know, your name, what school you came from, what year you did the program, and where you are right now. What university, what higher ed organization are you in? What are you majoring in? And then give us just some very quick details about your experience throughout the program. You have around 1 minute, so who would like to get started? All right, so maybe Leah, would you like to start?
Yes, of course. So my name is Leah Goldberg. I am a current freshman at the University of Florida studying finance, and I attended Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School throughout the past 4 years, where I participated in the fellows program in our company called Good Sense. And that was a company which was made up of a portable, sustainable air freshener that could be used in cars or bathrooms or anywhere at all. And I served as the management director, which taught me such an extreme amount about leadership, teamwork, working with others, and truly fueled my passion for business in general. And this program was super incredible for me. I gained so much, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. It's truly incredible, and make sure you really take the most out of it, because what you put in is what you get out.
Awesome. Thank you, Leah. That's exactly true. What you get in is what you put out. All right. So who else is up? Do we have Susan around, Hunter? We have Kayla.
Hi, I could go next.
Awesome, Susan. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. I'm Susan. I am currently a U Miami freshman studying microbiology and immunology. Kind of relevant. Anyways, stay safe. I was a part of Junior Achievement back in 2018 with FunKey. We created basically a kit for children to beat boredom that was non-technological, to provide parents a way to provide entertainment to their children without a phone or a tablet. So we went ahead and did that. We did have a couple of challenges, but from those challenges, you learn a lot. Thankfully, I was able to learn a lot of soft skills. I was able to learn how to work with a team and how to identify different aspects of a team, how to find what works and what doesn't, and how to really use your talents. Like every single employee in your company has something that nobody else does. And you have to find what that is and make sure that the company and themselves benefit from it, because you are a leader no matter what level in the company you are, okay? You are a leader and you have to show that and encourage others to grow as well. So that's what I really got from JA. And I really enjoy how much focus they put into leadership, because you can be a leader and everyone's born a leader. You just have to really work for it. And that's a great thing that every single one of you can do.
Awesome. Thanks, Susan. We absolutely love what you said and we agree. All right. Is Kayla around?
Yes. Hello. My name is Kayla Rucker. I was the JA president for the Terra company at Atlantic Technical High School last year in 2019. I am currently a Broward College student majoring in new media communications, and I am interning at a digital marketing firm called Tenuity. Our product was a butterfly-inspired bracelet that was 100% biodegradable and eco-friendly, and I found that it was most important last year to be very open, friendly, and welcoming to the public. That was really the driver in our sales and in our marketing, connecting with people, not just on a level of, okay, we're selling you a product, but on a personal level as well, and connecting with children. Children really seem to love our bracelets, and families did as well. It was something that was not only memorable, but recognizable. In multiple occasions, we would meet people and they would say, oh, we still have our bracelet on, you know? So it was very interesting to connect with people in that way. And I think that that aspect of doing business is very important, the connection part. And yes, that is all for me.
Thank you so much, Kayla. Appreciate your insights. Is anybody else in the room that would like to share their experience if they have done the program already? I'm thinking maybe there might be some university school students that have done the program last year or in prior years, and now they are maybe mentoring the new class. Anybody would like to share? We have just a few seconds. I don't see any hands up. All right, guys. So thank you, everybody, for sharing. Thank you, ladies. You guys are amazing, representing, you know, women in the classrooms, and it's just, you know, it just warms my heart to see all of you guys after so many years. You're still coming back and supporting, you know, the new generation. So, all right. So with that being said, I am going to now go ahead and please ask for your help. We do have a quick survey. And I don't know if you can see the QR code, or if one of my colleagues would put the form into our chat box for you guys to answer. It's just 2 or 3 questions. It's not more than that. It's going to take you less than a minute, and we will be concluding on time because it's right 11 o'clock. So if you take 1 minute to do that, that would be great. So any of my colleagues could confirm you guys see the QR code?
The link is in the chat box.
Okay. Alrighty, so let me
I see the code now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Awesome. So the QR code is right there. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I am now going to invite my colleague Aisha to give us a quick update on our social media contest.
Hi guys, so a lot of you guys have followed us, so thank you very much for that. I know that the program was very engaging, so a lot of you guys had also some technical difficulties. So maybe you guys didn't get a chance to post a photo. So before we exit the call, you guys can make sure you take a screenshot of your screen and make sure you post that on Instagram and tag us so you can get a chance to be entered to win a gift card. And so you just have to tag us and we'll reshare your post and you get your friends to react to that post. The person with the most reactions gets a chance to win a gift card. And thank you to all of you guys who followed us. And that's it.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you for being our social media ninja. And thank you to my colleagues who were supporting us throughout the process. Thank you to the teachers, to the mentors, and to the students who were here today. As I mentioned before, please let me know if there's anything I can do for you guys, even if it's a 10 or 15 minute, quick Zoom call in order to clarify any details about the program. That's what we're here for. And thank you again to the lead teachers and the mentors. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.